Hey everybody, this is Daniel Troutman, one half of the tag team Bothersome Truth. I want to get right into it because I am tired. I have a splitting headache, and I just watched the Jill Stein Green Party town hall, and that did nothing but give me an even bigger headache. If you didn't watch it, I encourage you to go and find it on YouTube. You should be able to type in CNN Green Party town hall and find the video. Otherwise, to all of you who watched it, you may have the same splitting headache I do. I found it to be extremely frustrating, and I'm just going to kind of summarize it as long as my head doesn't start splitting from everything. But I just want to say that I went into it with the hope that CNN was going to be fair, be honest. I know. I didn't think they would be that bad. You know, Emmanuel, when you watch the show, will talk about CNN being the Clinton News Network. And sometimes that feels like hyperbole, but after watching this town hall, it felt appropriate. They asked so many questions that even though they had the audience ask them, it did not feel that these were written by the audience. They felt planted. They asked about Jill Stein's religion. Now, some of you may not realize, but in America, religion is a huge measuring tool that voters use, and American voters discriminate against candidates based on religion. In fact, there are very few things that are worse when it comes to being a candidate than being seen as non-religious. Probably one of the only things that's under that list is if you are a rapist. I'm serious. Look at the surveys that have been done. Look at the polls. Being considered a non-believer will almost ensure that you don't get elected, and that's exactly one of the attacks they use against her. Somebody asked a question of comparing Jill Stein's feminism to Hillary's feminism, and who's more of a feminist. Like, it was nonsense. So one guy asked, how are you going to be able to sleep at night knowing that you helped Trump get elected the way Nader did for Bush back in 2000. What kind of nonsense is this? Jill Stein is not helping Trump get elected. If people don't vote for Hillary, it's because Hillary ran a terrible campaign. It's because people don't trust Hillary. That has nothing to do with Jill Stein. Jill Stein has a different message, a different platform, and that resonates with some people. It resonates with me, I'll be honest, because I voted for Bernie, and I'm looking at Jill Stein's platform and reviewing it for myself. And that wasn't the only question. She talked about erasing student debt, and Chris punished Cuomo, and I call him punish because he used the word punish like 5 or 7 times against Bernie Sanders in one town hall when it was supposed to be kind of softball questions. He just kept hammering Bernie, and Bernie handled it, but you could see the bias against Bernie. You could see it with Jill. He asks all these questions as though it doesn't make sense for us to consider canceling the student debt of students in America. But the reality is, she brought it up. We did it for the big banks to the tune of $85 billion a month through quantitative easing that the banks were able to take advantage of to pay their loans back. So you're saying we can't do this for students? That was the point she kept trying to bring up. Now, you may not agree with getting rid of student loan debt. That's fine. We can have a conversation about that. But you can't say it's impossible. She talked about foreign policy. She said she wanted to cut U.S. discretionary defense spending by about 50% because we spend 54% of our discretionary defense spending is on defense. And she said, hey, I want to cut that by 50%. Chris Cuomo acted like she said she wanted to cut the entire military. She talked about how we have like 800 bases around the world, and I think the next one after us has like 30, and he acted incredulous that she would want to consider doing that. They brought up how they were saying, hey, you know, if we cut our defense, aren't you worried that this could affect national security? Her and her VP Baraka brought up a great point. Well, our foreign policy to this point has not helped eliminate terrorism. It has contributed to terrorism. Both the Bush administration, you could even go back to Bush the father, and the Obama administration, it's all contributed to it. So that's the conversation we need to have. I could go on and on, but these questions were infuriating, just like me trying to get that word out. And I'll end with this. Her VP pick, Dr. Baraka, has people call him a black supremacist. Now, I'll be honest, I haven't studied him a lot, so I don't fully know everything that he stands for. I've got more research to do before I go vote. But what I find interesting is I called it on Facebook. I posted it. I said they're going to attack him on this. And somebody said, nah, they wouldn't do that. Sure enough, folks, few minutes in, they were attacking him on it. I took my Facebook post. I shared what I said. I knew they were going to do it. They went after Jill to try to attack her and bring her down every way that they could. And I genuinely believe once she brought up that she is a non-believer, that was the boat. That's the issue that's going to cause a lot of people to say, I don't think I'm going to vote for her. And it's not fair because that has nothing to do, honestly, with her platform and her policies. I want leaders who can explain to me what they're going to do, explain to me how they're going to do it, and then we talk about the feasibility of it and the necessity of it. I'm not asking you to tell me what you believe because you can lie about that. Like, do we really care? Does anybody care what Hillary's religion is? Does anybody care what Trump's is? Do you believe them even if they tell you what they say they believe? So why logically does it matter with Jill Stein? To me, it was a question to sink her. I have a lot of thoughts. I could get into this all night, but that was an infuriating town hall to watch. I think that they put the hatchet in Hillary and Baraka's back. What do you think, though? Did you watch it? And if you watched it, did you think that they were doing the same thing? Did you have a different take on it? Did you talk to me? Because maybe there's something I missed. I was live posting during it, so maybe I missed something. I have no problem admitting that, and we'll touch on it in the comments below on the video. Don't forget to check out our Facebook page, Bothersome Truth YouTube show, and we are putting the videos there before we share it on our Facebook feed, so you can get it quicker than other people. And we're also trying to build a community there when it comes to talking about government corruption, talking about police brutality, talking about these issues where we can all talk about them and educate one another. This has been Daniel with Bothersome Truth, and I hope you have a good